created by she, her, continued by he, him, and is, without a doubt, the worst podcast that you could possibly listen to. The worst. Out of all the genres, it's the worst. How are we doing out there? Good, great, grand. Hey, Yand, wonderful. Oh, as you see on your screen, your dial, however, you are choosing to join me today. I don't know why you would be. There's certainly something else that you could be doing, listening to. Certainly something else. Anyway, the Psychedelic Priest. Ah, yes, our fourth installment in the William Grefe collection. He comes from the swamp. The William Grefe collection from Arrow Video. Available now. Or if you're a cheap ass, try the Arrow player. Or if you're even a cheaper ass, do Tubi. But I suggest you buy the physical media while you can. I think Arrow's doing probably better stuff than Criterion, but I'm biased on some of the stuff, of course. Of course. Oh, so yeah, here we are, the fourth installment in this box set. Killer sharks and human jellyfish and living mummies. Oh my. Arrow Video is proud to present the first ever collection of works by William Wild Bill Grefe, the maverick filmmaker who braved the deep, dark depths of the Florida Everglades to deliver some of the most outrageous exploitation fare ever to go-go dance its way across drive-in screens. Bringing together 7 of Grefe's most outlandish movies, plus a feature-length documentary on the filmmaker's career. He came from the swamp. The William Grefe collection packs in a menacing menagerie of demented jellyfish men, sting of death, a few back now, zombified witch doctors, death curse of Tattoo, that's what that one was, homicidal hippies, which was the Hook generation, and seductive matrons, not to mention the ubiquitous go-go dancing, to create one of the most wildly entertaining box sets of all time. So here we are with the Psychedelic Priest, my audience members. I love you guys, but fuck. Listen to something else. Jesus Christ. Here we are, the Psychedelic Priest. Well, I think I convinced myself that I was going to have a better time. I don't know why. I happened to... What fucked up is I happened to glance at the synopsis, which I don't... It was just I don't know. I was thinking nothing of it, but once I read the synopsis that a priest accidentally drinks a cup of acid that he thought was Coca-Cola Classic, and goes on a road trip. Well, that does indeed happen. I will give it that. He does inadvertently drink some acid and then go on a road trip and pick up a hitchhiker and strike up a weird relationship with said hitchhiker. So how this all starts, hold on, because I don't know if you guys heard the last episode, but real-life hippies were used for this one. Real-life hippies. So none of them are actors and actresses of any note. John Darrell or John Darrell plays Father John, who goes on his acid trip, and Carolyn Hall plays Sonny, who is the lady hitchhiker hippie that he picks up along the way and has a very strange relationship with, which I will touch on. I may even give you the whole movie on this one, because seeing is believing for this one. So up until this point, again, fourth installment in the Arrow Video presents He Came from the Swamp, the William Grefe collection. Very apt title, considering he filmed in the Everglades, right? Anyway, I mentioned in some previous episodes that when you're restoring these films, which is awesome, I think some of the cuts are very uncomfortable and abrupt, and there's tonal shifts, and obviously I know that these are coming out late 60s, early 70s, so I get it, but it nonetheless, with the Psychedelic Priest, I think it was the hardest that I had to kind of like work with my brain, where I was like, what? Wait, what just happened? Not to mention, I kind of thought that it would be just not what it was. I don't know why. I guess because I was coming off the Hook generation, which is part 3. So if you've made it this far, which I there's something wrong with you if you're if you have gone through all of these. I appreciate you, but there's something wrong with you. Up until this point, or after the Hook generation, which was very grindhousey and guns and fucking bodies getting stacked up and villains getting bit in the face with a snake. That's how they meet their demise. Or someone that trips into, or falls through broken glass and then falls off a balcony. You know, so when I heard Psychedelic Priest, I went, okay, this is going to be fucking wild. I wonder if he's going to be all on, it's going to be kind of like Hobo with a Shotgun, where he's all on acid and he's just goes on a rampage, falling down, that sort of thing. Not so much. In fact, he goes and he like sees the world. He doesn't. He just drives fucking 25 miles north of fucking Los Angeles. I don't know. The time shifts in this film they're very wild, because at like one point, so I like I said, he picks up the hitchhiker. Hold on, let me take it, because some of the notes that I wrote, I was just like, you have to talk about that. It opens with a concert, and it's very hippie, and you hear a preacher who's standing in the middle of this concert, and not our main character, but he's basically, you know, condemning all these hippies at the concert that we're at, and the concert sequence goes on for like 3.5 minutes, dude. It's like, oh fuck. And this movie was only an hour and 20 minutes, which is even more. You're like, help me, please. Cut to a man monologuing down the street. He lectures them. Oh, yeah. He sips from the Coca-Cola, and this is where his trip begins. But this happens almost immediately. So he like sips it, and one of the teenagers that he was about to lecture, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing drugs. You shouldn't be smoking the pot out in the middle of the public. What are you fucking doing? He immediately, after you hear one of the teenagers go, oh, I can't believe you dumped acid in his drink, man. And then you just hear like, yeah. And the next thing you see is the priest just wigging out in the fucking parking lot. Like, it is like you kind of went, oh shit, he drank some fucking acid. And then boom, he's having a meltdown in the parking lot. And even worse, like, it starts to, the meltdown in the parking lot, we do like, what is it called? Like, from a cinematography standpoint, like the fisheye view, I think it's fisheye view. Anyway, of these like random people, at least I don't remember them prior to and this is some of the visions that he's having. So like right out the jump, you're like, wait, who are these people? And I don't, if memory serves, they're not reoccurring. I'm almost positive on that, because our road trip begins shortly thereafter, but not before he, for God knows what fucking reason, while he's on acid, after he has a meltdown in the parking lot, he goes into the church, his church, and he's still tripping balls, and it's you have come to the right place, you must be a priest for the rest of your life, like echoing voices and trippy visuals. And I'm just like, this movie's fucking all right, we're gonna go crazy. He's gonna go crazy, and this is gonna be Michael Douglas falling down. He's gonna get in a car chase, fucking drive Ryan Gosling style, explosions and fucking people going off fucking warehouse rooftops and helicopters. No, I didn't think it was gonna be all, but I thought it might be some of that. Nope, he just, the very next thing, he's like not tripping anymore, and he's just on the road. And I guess like in my head, I thought he would be driving, tripping balls, and there would be more of that. No, he just leaves the church, and now he's like, fine, he just decided to go on a road trip. So now the motivation behind everything, I'm kind of like, oh, well, this is lackluster. So you got slipped a Mickey. I mean, not technically a Mickey, but it's funny, right? Slipped a Mickey and tripped your balls, went into church, and now you're like, well, road trip, sober. Let's go see the world. That's fine to do that in real life if that were, okay, that's fine. From a personal aspect, if you need, okay, fine. But from a entertainment and a film aspect, well, again, I think I'm the piece of shit because I psyched myself up for something different after seeing the Hook generation, which I didn't mind. I think it's, for all rights and accounts, it's pretty funny, especially the lieutenant at the end. You bum, you loser. You want to know why you lose? You do loser things, and that's what happens to losers, because a loser's a bum and a bum's a loser. You're a fucking loser. You're gonna lose here. You're gonna lose in life. Because I'm gonna put you so far in that. I don't know why all of a sudden he's Boston. He's not Boston, but he does say loser like 17 times for sure at the end of the Hook generation. Anywho, I thought shotgun blasts and fucking people dying. Well, somebody does die. It's a fucking black man. We'll get there in a second, which was weird and out of nowhere and uncomfortable, especially since earlier in the film. Okay, so there's some things that I have to mention. So after you start tripping balls, trust your father in the church. That's what you hear, trust your father. A 5-minute music, I wrote down a 5-minute music video of him driving through the fucking, seeing the hillsides. And anyway, father goes on a road trip. Picks up a hitchhiker, girl headed to L.A. She's just like, don't come on to me in a motel or something. And he tells her, the priest now, who's on the road trip, I just pull off to the side of the road and sleep in a sleeping bag. And somehow I was just like, that's so much more creepier than just me than a motel. Isn't it creepier to say I got a spare sleeping bag for you that we can do in the wilderness off the fucking highway? I don't know. I thought it was strange. But you know what? It is the fucking late 60s. Fucking do what you want. And you're white. So you got that going for you. Because, anyway. She talks about her history with rape as she's been hitchhiking. She got raped by someone. So another tonal shift where I was like, oh, okay, you picked up your friend. And she's just like, oh, yeah, I hope you don't rape me like the others. And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? Why are you still hitchhiking? Anyway, which is just like I said, a heavy turn tonally where I'm like, ouch. And then she wouldn't have, when she talks about the rape, she's saying she's lucky she didn't get pregnant. And this comes out verbatim. These words come out. I wouldn't have known what to do if it was a colored baby. I shit you not, ladies and gentlemen, or however you identify. I was just like, I kind of like, I popped my head up like, whoa, what? What the fuck did we just say? Because, dude, I think this one was like 1971, and I thought we were kind of like, we were cool and stuff. Turns out, there was like a record scratch in my brain. What? What did we just say? And again, like, when it's out of nowhere and when you are having these dramatic tonal shifts, it's hard to be like, for it to still not affect you, like, because like it's no less jarring. There was no build up to this. She was just like, it's out of nowhere, and that scene just ends. Like, she's just like, I wouldn't have known what to do if it was a color baby, and then end scene, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Anyway, so more music, and now what's even stranger is like the priest John hasn't like come on to her, like he hasn't. There's been like no affection because we're so early into the film. Like there hasn't been this. I don't know. We haven't had 3 or 4 scenes prior where they've talked to each other. The very next scene after I wouldn't have known what to do if I had a colored baby is them, like, prancing along the mountainside, like, throwing snowballs at each other and shit, and laughing and regaling the times of old. Again, like, I'm slow to begin with, but I'm pretty sure that if you go from one to the next, you're kind of like, what is happening? Why are you guys laughing and snowball fighting now? This is weird. A love song starts to play, like, as they're doing this. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And the very next scene, they're like getting supplies or gas of some sort, and she's like, "Oh, my friends live around here. Do you want to go smoke some grass?" Which they do, and that scene goes on. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's just dope smokers, just ding ding to the dope music, to the early 70s dope fiend music. Sounds like porn to me. 70s porn. Keep waiting to. I'm here to fix the plumbing. What's that? Every time, Hook Generation. No, just actually this one was Hook Generation a lot too. Where I was just like, is somebody about to fuck right now? What's happening? But a very lengthy dope smoking sequence, and Sunny, the girl, starts to tell John about the story how she tripped balls in a graveyard. Again, these people, we talked about rape, we threw snowballs at each other, and now we're smoking pot, talking about tripping balls in a graveyard. And it's one after the other. I'm not kidding you. Like, there's no I'm not skipping over a scene right now. You're just like, wait, what the fuck is what is happening right now? Traumatized her. Oh yeah, I think when she was peeking on the acid, when she's telling the story, her boyfriend at the time left her in the graveyard. That's mean. That's mean as fuck. Go trip acid and then leave your girlfriend out in the middle of a graveyard. Naturally, it was traumatizing for her. Okay, now the two are back on the road. The priest, John, and Sonny, the hitchhiker. They, Jesus Christ. So, once they get back on the road after smoking some dope and talking about just awesome things and positive things, there's just a random lady on the side of the road giving birth. Or she's in labor. And she's just on the side of the road. I'm going to repeat that for you. We're going to run it back a little bit. We were just smoking some dope, right? Having a lengthy drug scene. Bam, bam, bam. Who's about to fuck? And now we're back on the road, and they pick up a lady who's in labor. They start driving some more. Like, we got to get her to a hospital. There's no hospital within sights. So the next best thing, I guess, is after a little driving, there's 2 dudes smoking pot on the side of the road with a van. And they pull over, and they're like, hey, we got this lady, and she's in labor, and she's going to have this kid. And the 2 smoking the joint, they're like, hey, man, they yelled at this black man off in the distance, we need some help. He comes running, and then they go into the van, and the black man delivers the baby. You never see the baby. You don't see any. All you hear is sounds. It is the most uncomfortable, jarring, weird, like, what I was saying it in the tone prior because, like, again, we left the dope house, right? Smoking pot. Pick up a lady who's about to give birth, and they don't make it to the hospital. Ladies, gentlemen, members of the audience, however you identify, they don't make it to the hospital. They make it to a van pulled off the side of the road, and a black man called from the hills delivers a baby that you don't see. We didn't even have the GD decency to throw in like some like blood or anything. He delivers it in the van. Okay? No, you don't see them holding the baby. Nothing. None of that. And he now sits down next to Father John, the priest, our main character, and they like laugh at like it, it's so fucking strange, dude. You're just like, what is happening? And then I think like John asks him a question. He's just like, well, why do you do this out here? There's so many other people that you could be helping down there. And he's referring to this city. Like, why is this hippie who was just smoking a joint, who just delivered a baby, couldn't he be doing good somewhere else? And I think I'm just going to try to go through most of the movie with you because it's seen as believing. You got to see this movie. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. I repeat, it's a tough watch. But I don't know, DM me and we can talk about it and be like, yeah, wasn't that this and wasn't that that? It's all about the conversation, right? Conversation turns weird. Now, I just have to emphasize how weird the delivering of the baby scene was. I need someone to talk about it with me. It's not like uncomfortable or it's not uncomfortable. It's just, it's almost like you know that they're having the baby, but like nothing that you're seeing within the sequence so much indicates that. It's just seeing is believing. Let's see. And it goes on too long for sure. So they go out to the hills, like after they deliver the baby. John, Father John, Sonny, the hitchhiker, and the black dude, I think his name's Bo, maybe. Anyway, they like go up to the hills and they have a conversation. And in that moment, so he still has minimal blood on his hands from the delivering the baby, absolute minimal, like almost you could think he like pricked his finger or something, but he still got blood on his hands from delivering the baby. And I guess in that moment, and the question posed from Father John, he's gonna go back to the city now. So from the van, from the dope house to the woman in labor to the van to the hill sitting, this black man who just delivered a baby, he was so shook by Father John's question about why couldn't he be helping more people or whatever. He's now going to go to town with, when I keep saying town, I forget that they're headed to L.A. I probably should have mentioned that. They're headed to L.A. because I guess initially that's where Sonny was going. Doesn't matter. They're headed to L.A. Well, they just leave now. So, like, the friends, the two guys that were smoking weed that they pulled off to the road to begin with, I guess, like, they're just not going to try to convince the black dude, the black doctor, to stay or anything. He's just now in the car with John and Sonny, and they're just leaving now. Dude, I swear, it happens just like that. I don't think I'm missing any filler. They pull off to the side of the road to get gas, okay? In the previous scene, black dude's like, hey, I can't like really step outside around here. Like it's bad news for me. They don't like me. They're rural people, and they kind of are. They're not near the city yet. But he warns John and Sonny, and they're like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. You're with us. It's fine. Well, lo and behold, when they pull off the side of the road for gas, and they all get out, and they're kind of like oddly frolicking, like it's just whatever. Seeing is believing. It's a weird scene where they're like happy and whatever. And in that moment, two dudes are apparently cops. Not apparently, they are cops. And they're like, oh, they start saying some racist shit, and they start saying some demeaning shit about hippies. And it ends literally how the black dude said it was. Like, they're not there 30 seconds before he's hauled off into the car by these two cops. Okay, right? So black dude gets harassed. All of them get harassed, right? And one of the cops just slaps fucking Sonny, the hitchhiker, and punches John in the stomach, and apparently that's enough to fend him off. And the two cops just take the black dude, put him in the car, and fucking take off. All right. I'm not skipping over anything. Father John and hitchhiker Sonny, they hop into the car and they go after the two cops. the way that it's cut is very little time has passed, and the next thing we see is John and Sonny rolling up on the dead black doctor with the two cops laughing. Intense and a tonal shift. Dope house. I just want to remind you, dope house. Woman in labor on the side of a highway with it by yourself. I don't know how, if that's not weird to you. I don't know how that couldn't be weird to you. Just fucking, we were like, oh, smoking weed. The woman in labor on the side of the house. Oh, where she's going to deliver it in a van down by the river. And it is too. And now the black doctor has already made up his life choice, who we just met. Like we, the audience, have just met this doctor, and now he's just going back to the city with John and Sonny, and now he's dead on the side of the fucking road because two fucking dirty ass cops killed him for being black. Dude. This movie's fucking wild. Fucking wild. And this is another one of those instances where the restoration, like the putting the film back together, I'm sure that, you know, they were splicing what they could, and sometimes it's just tough emotionally where you're like, what? Fuck. Do I want to tell you what happens to Sonny and John? John and Sonny. Father John and Sonny. No. I don't think I will. Because wild. Like a couple times my jaw dropped. I think I'm leaving out 3 jaw-dropping sequences for the Psychedelic Priest, which is a part of the William Grefe collection. The Psychedelic Priest, starring, pull it up now, John Darrell, Carolyn Hall, Joe Crane, Ken Keckler, Larry Wright, Susan Hayes, Chubby Jackson, Abe Newman, James Coleman, Lowell Merrill. Written, well, I believe in this one, Terry Merrill gets the on-screen credit for directing, but that wasn't the case. Like, it was something that had to do with their contract or whatever. And William Grefe only got the DP status for this one, or maybe that was Hook Generation. I don't remember. Either way, I think it was this one. Anywho, written by Terry Merrill, so Grefe didn't partake in writing this one like Hook Generation. Check it out. Like I said, Arrow Player if you're not into the physical media. Arrow Player if you're not into the physical media. Or get the fucking physical. Or if you're fucking cheap on both counts, stream it on Tubi first and then buy it. Support Arrow Video. The Psychedelic Priest. What will happen to Father John and Sonny? Oh, shit. That's funny. Psychedelic Priest. He came from the swamp. The William Grefe collection. Arrow Video. And the cinema. Film that lingered in obscurity for decades before its rediscovery. Let's try it again. A film that lingered in obscurity for decades before its rediscovery, originally entitled Electric Shades of Grey, young priest embarks on a whacked-out road trip across America after accidentally drinking a Coke laced with acid. That's not true. He did it after he got done tripping balls, I'm pretty sure. Pretty fucking sure. Cinema, Arrow Video, came from the swamp, William Grefe.